Hello, everybody. I'm Joel Kahn, medical doctor, triple board certified cardiologist, professor of medicine, and founder of a preventive clinic in southeastern Michigan and southeastern Florida, the Kahn Center. Thank you for joining me here again at HeartBrief. We got three very exciting articles today. I had to do a little holiday color cheer because it is so cold in Detroit right now. We're getting close to zero tonight. So forgive me for having many layers on. And you stay warm too. We're going to talk about that as one of the topics, in fact. But first, we are going to go to a very provocative article just published and making press in a journal I've not heard of, Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle. The authors are from Sweden and Saudi Arabia. I think this is an important study that you'll want to pay attention to. And I say that as a cardiologist that uses a lot of statin therapy. But the title of the article is Statin Use is Associated with a Decline, the word is associated, in muscle function and mass over time, irrespective of statin pharmacogenomic score. And they went to the good old friend called the UK Biobank, and they were able to find almost 300,000 participants that they knew their statin prescription status. And as part of the UK Biobank database, they had done hand grip measures and measures of appendicular lean mass. So they knew something about their strength and muscle mass. And they made baseline measurements and they made associations with the presence or absence of statins. And then they had a smaller group that they were able to follow over time. 35,557 participants followed at 10 years to see if continuous statin use was associated with any change in hand grip strength or this measure of lean mass. What did they find? They found in this group with an average age of 56, 46% male, the initial cohort, the large cohort, statin use was associated with lower baseline grip strength and lower ALM, appendicular lean mass. Now, in the follow-up group, 35,557 participants followed for 10 years, continuous statin use was associated with accelerated decline in grip strength. They expected some decline with age, but it was accelerated in the statin group versus the non-statin group. Similarly, the other lean mass measurement had the same finding. They had some pharmacogenomic scores. They did not modify the relationship. So their conclusion was continuous statin use is associated with a decline in muscle function and mass over time, a 25% decline in grip strength, a 73% decline in appendicular lean mass compared to never users of statins, raising the importance of monitoring musculoskeletal health in statin users. Now, this is an association study. It's not to be ignored. Many questions come up. Were the people on statins sicker and had more disease and more prone to progressive sarcopenia? Perhaps. Were there differences in exercise between those that were on a statin and non-statin users, gym time, muscle exercises like strength training, and all those other factors? How about the statin users? Were they taking coenzyme Q10, known to support mitochondrial function in people on statins? So we'll have to look forward to more data. I think right now, personally in my clinic, all my patients on statins, we emphasize lower doses, often combining the statin with ezetimibe, 10 milligram, always combining the statin with coenzyme Q10, and always emphasizing fitness, including a balance of strength training. Then we can perhaps do a small study and see if we can blunt this decline described in this association study. All right, so it's time to go to article number 2. We're going to save a zinger for the last one, perhaps a zinger. But article number 2 will be shared here in a minute. When I was learning to do echo in cardiology, an important topic, we called it buttonology, all the buttons that you had to learn on an echo machine. So this is from Lancet Diabetes Endocrinology, published December 12, 2025. 2 databases, Diabetes Prevention Program Outcome Study, and a Chinese database called the Daking Diabetes Prevention Outcome Study. If I pronounce that wrong, to anybody who understands Mandarin better than I apologize. Prediabetes remission and cardiovascular morbidity and mortality. And this was a post hoc analysis of these two trials. So in these studies, there were a large number of pre-diabetic individuals. The Diabetes Prevention Program in the United States, a famous study, began in 1996, and they accumulated data until its end. And that was in 2020. There were 2,400 participants, and in the Chinese study, there were 540 participants. At 1 year, this is important, 11% of the US participants were in remission. They no longer met criteria for prediabetes. Their hemoglobin A1C was less than 5.7. Again, they were exercising, they were eating better, they had lost some weight. And similarly in the Chinese study. And what they found at a long-term follow-up of 20 years of these people, where they were just being observed, they no longer were in the study. Those that went into diabetic remission had a significantly lower risk of important cardiac endpoints, like cardiac death, like cardiac hospitalization for heart failure, much more than those that did not go into remission during the study. The results were robust after adjusting for all cofactors that can be adjusted for. And also the interpretation by the authors, very importantly, was reaching prediabetes remission, whether it's through diet or fitness or weight loss or, if need be, medication, is linked to decades-long benefit, having the risk, cutting it in half, of cardiovascular disease or hospitalization for heart failure. Targeting prediabetes remission may represent a new approach to cardiovascular prevention. That's certainly what we teach in my clinic. We try and do it through nutrition. We often use the 5-day fasting mimicking diet program once a month, which has been shown to reverse prediabetes successfully in published literature. Of course, fitness, weight loss through healthy means, whole food plant-based diets, and avoid medication if possible, but sometimes it's necessary. Of course, if there's significant obesity, we're going to be discussing perhaps GLP-1 medications. And the last study to share with you now is the holiday zinger. And I did go back, hopefully nobody will mind, about 20 years, because this has been in the headlines because of an American Heart Association recent statement about caution during the holidays for cardiovascular outcome. This was published in the prominent journal Circulation in 2004, published from University of California, San Diego, where they looked at a database which had reported that cardiac deaths were highest in December. The title of the article is, Cardiac Mortality is Higher Around Christmas and New Year Than Any Other Time. The Holidays as a Risk Factor for Death. So it was known that December was not a good month for cardiac death, but they were able to look day by day at cardiac death and non-cardiac death. And they thought that if it was just a general trend, it would be higher in both conditions, or if it was unique to the heart, it would be just higher in cardiac death. And what they actually found very significantly was the highest death day of the year was Christmas. The second highest death day of the year was December 26th. And the third highest cardiac death day of the year was January 1. And those held up in terms of cardiac disease and less so for non-cardiac deaths. Now, they had a number of reasons to look at this. Difference in travel patterns, difference in eating patterns, difference in drinking, laying off exercise, sitting around more, family interaction, stress, and all the other things you might put together. But you can see right there on figure 1, which should show up, that they show Christmas and New Year's Day. You can see what a significant difference there is from the rest of the year. Now, some of this in certain parts of the United States and other areas is the cold weather. And that was the American Heart Association alert about being cautious with super cold weather like we're having right now in my home city, as well as snow shoveling, heavy wet snow. There was a study done at my hospital in the 1990s that shoveling heavy wet snow in healthy volunteers wearing heart monitors could raise their heart rate. And in other studies, their systolic blood pressure on the ambulatory blood pressure cuff as high or higher than they got on a arm ergometer exercise test. So the warning is Avoid snow shoveling in super cold, windy weather, or do it in little pieces, or don't lift the heavy snow, just brush it away, or get yourself a snowblower, or maybe just move to San Diego, where these others are from. Is I will be moving soon for 2 months to southeastern Florida for the clinics I hold there. So that's what we have at HeartBrief this week. Hopefully, you'll have a healthy and safe holiday season. Hopefully, you are somewhere warm where you're not having all kinds of vasoconstriction going on. But if you are in a cold climate, please be cautious. Use the data we presented here today and have a healthy season. Thank you.